Have you ever walked into a room where someone's presence makes the air feel heavy? They don't need to yell or insult you directly, but through a glance, indifference, a sarcastic remark, or just their toxic energy, they make you feel like a warped mirror. That's when you've encountered a toxic person. The key isn't learning how to change them. It's understanding why you let them touch your mind in the first place. The world is full of people who can hurt you with words, actions, or even their silence. But here's the strange truth. Not everyone is affected by them the way you are. The same toxic person can control one person's mind while leaving another unshaken. The difference lies within, not in physical strength or aggressive reactions, but in mental control. More precisely, it's the ability to not react, to say nothing, yet make them back off. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them." Toxic people exist because we give them space to take hold. The beauty is, you can learn to make your mind untouchable. Today's video will guide you on handling toxic people with utmost intelligence. No arguing, no explaining, no tears, just calm, steady resolve. We'll explore 9 simple yet powerful principles rooted in Stoic wisdom and practical life lessons. You'll learn to keep your mind intact, no matter how chaotic others are. If you've ever felt controlled by someone's emotions or manipulated by subtle tactics, you're not alone. But after today, you'll be different. You'll learn to stand still, and that stillness will make others fear your strength. Before we start, hit subscribe. Like if you're ready to master your mind, and comment, "I control myself," as a commitment. Now let's begin the journey to becoming untouchable. Number 1, your reaction is the real problem. Most of us think the problem lies with others. They offend, hurt, or disrupt our peace, so we react. But the truth is, they only trigger a reaction already within you. If your inner world is unshakable, no amount of manipulation, aggression, or insults can disturb your calm. The issue isn't the external trigger, it's your internal response. Toxic people don't control you with strength, but with your reaction. Sadly, you often give them exactly what they want: anger, hurt, or lingering obsession. An old saying goes, "You can't blame the wind when your ship veers off course. It's how you steer the sails that matters." Toxic people are the wind, but you let your sails be pulled when they storm. This hard truth is the starting point of freedom. When you realize your reaction is the real problem, you begin to reclaim control. A dangerous habit many fall into is believing reacting shows strength. They think silence equals weakness, or not responding means letting others walk over them. But the strongest person doesn't react instantly. They create space between stimulus and response, observing their emotions without being swept away. Reflect. How many times have you fallen into unnecessary arguments because you couldn't control your emotions? How many sleepless nights came from dwelling on a meaningless comment from someone insignificant? How often have you let others live rent-free in your mind? Each time, it wasn't them hurting you, it was your unmindful reaction. Crucially, toxic people know this. They don't need intelligence or power just to hit your unhealed emotional weak spot. They play on your guilt, fear of abandonment, or hidden insecurities. When you react impulsively, you confirm their influence, losing control. But when you don't react, when you hold silence not from fear but from mastery, you throw them into chaos. They expect anger or breakdown. When that doesn't happen, they feel unsteady, unable to read you. That's when you hold the power. Stoicism teaches you can't control the external world, but you can control your mind. Epictetus said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgment about them." Refusing to react isn't avoidance, it's strategy. You stay silent not because you lack answers, but because you've risen above proving anything to the unworthy. Recall the last time someone's words hurt you. The question isn't, what did they say, but why did it affect you? The answer lies within. Maybe an old wound was triggered. Maybe you sought validation they withheld. Maybe you tied your worth to their gaze and their disdain made you feel worthless. But that only happens when you agree with their definition. Not reacting doesn't mean accepting wrongness. It means responding to yourself first, checking your emotions before handing power to others. Like an inner warrior, you don't fight based on fleeting feelings. You fight only when the battle is worth it. You'll be surprised to find most battles with toxic people aren't. They don't seek truth but reaction, not reason but chaos. By not responding with chaos, you break their cycle. You don't need words. Your silence declares you're no longer their puppet. Start today with a simple habit. Pause before reacting. When someone angers you, don't reply instantly. When hurt by words, take a deep breath. Observe your emotions like passing clouds. Don't chase or cling. With practice, you'll grow calmer and stronger in others' eyes. Don't let anyone press your mind's control buttons just because you haven't learned to disable them. Begin now. No words, no retaliation, just awareness and choice. If this sparks something in you, like the video to fuel your journey of self-mastery. Subscribe to catch the next parts in this series on becoming untouchable to toxic people. Comment, "I control my reactions," as a declaration to yourself. Number 2, silence is strategic power. Silence is not just the absence of words, it's a powerful statement. In a world where people compete to speak, argue, and prove themselves, choosing silence at the right moment shifts the balance of power. Silence is strategy. It's inner strength speaking without sound. When facing toxic people who thrive on drama, manipulation, and triggering reactions, silence isn't just self-protection. It's the smartest counterstrike. Toxic people don't fear your anger. They expect it. They don't mind your criticism. They use it to fuel their drama. What unsettles them, strips their control, and sends them into panic is your lack of reaction. When you stay silent, you make them feel invisible. For toxic people, being ignored is the harshest punishment. They rely on your reactions to validate their influence. By saying nothing, responding to nothing, and showing no pain, you reclaim the power you've unconsciously given them. Understand that silence has depth. It's not passive. It's the mark of a mind that's weathered the storm. When you stay silent amid provocation, you declare, "I don't need to stoop to your level to prove anything." You're not a victim of their word games. You're the master of yourself. That self-control echoes louder than any argument. A common misconception is that silence is weakness, that not responding means dodging conflict. But only the truly strong can choose silence intentionally, not from fear, but from its irrelevance. Silence is an active, mindful, calculated act. It demands you overcome your ego, the need to be right, the urge to retaliate. It's the pinnacle of emotional intelligence. When you choose silence, you create space. In that space, toxic people confront their own insecurities. They wonder, why can't I control them anymore? Why aren't they reacting like before? Your silence forces them to face reality. You're no longer easily manipulated. It becomes a mirror reflecting their powerlessness, stripping their hold over you. Silence also preserves your energy. Every confrontation or argument with a toxic person is a mental bloodletting. They don't seek solutions. They crave chaos. They don't want understanding. They want dominance. Engaging in their game makes you the loser, no matter how right you are. But withdrawing into silence saves your energy for what matters in your life. Imagine this. You choose not to reply to a provocative text. You don't justify, explain, or post cryptic status updates. You don't engage in their subtle Cold War. You simply vanish into silence. You show up calm, engage kindly with others, keep living well, and move forward without mentioning them. That's stronger than any comeback. It makes you unbreakable. To do this, you need a solid inner core. You must know who you are, what you value, and what deserves your attention. Silence won't hold if you're still burning with unprocessed anger. True silence comes from freeing yourself from the need to win verbally. You don't stay silent to manipulate. You stay silent to protect your inner peace. Even in close relationships, silence can be the clearest message. When words are futile and reason isn't heard, silence declares, "I'm done with this game." No further explanation is needed. Silence has its own wisdom, saying, "I don't fight for respect. I withdraw my presence from the unworthy." Your silence isn't emptiness. It's a space to reclaim your power. It's a pause where others realize you're no longer their old manipulable version. If they don't notice, that's fine. You don't live for the approval of the unworthy. If someone asks, "Why didn't you say anything?" Smile. You know you don't need words to prove maturity. You're operating on a higher level, where reactions aren't mandatory, where conscious choice trumps instinct. This strategic silence is a journey. At first, it'll feel uncomfortable. Your ego will scream to speak, to prove, to demand fairness. Let that pass. Trust that your silence isn't a void. It's the foundation of true inner strength. If this message resonates, like the video to commit to protecting your inner peace from external noise. Subscribe to join us in building resilience and inner calm. Comment, "I choose strategic silence," to affirm you're ready to become a higher version of yourself. Number 3, your calm triggers their panic. Calmness is a weapon toxic people can never comprehend. To them, silence signals weakness, gentleness is cowardice, and composure means indifference. But the truth is the opposite. Calmness isn't feeling nothing. It's choosing not to react as they expect. This throws them into panic. They can't read you. They can't predict your next move. For manipulators, this is their greatest unease. Your calm exposes their inner chaos, revealing the powerlessness they hide behind anger, control, criticism, or drama. Picture this. Someone yells, insults, or accuses you unjustly. In the past, you might have snapped back, shouted, cried, or tried to explain. Now you stand steady, eyes unwavering, breath even, no tears, no defense. You don't cower or fight. You simply observe, as if their storm can't touch your inner peace. That's when they falter. They realize their once effective tools no longer work. Your composure is the ultimate resistance, not from opposition, but from transcending their emotional pull. Toxic people don't know how to engage with steadiness. They thrive in chaos, emotions, reactions. When you refuse their environment, they lose their bearings, unable to play their usual script. In that disorientation, they grow anxious, angrier, or retreat. Don't mistake calmness for passive silence. True calm isn't avoidance. It's facing without breaking. It's commanding your emotions so no one can drag you into their turmoil. By staying composed, you refuse to dance in their chaos, choosing mindful presence over their emotional games. Fascinatingly, your calm forces toxic people to confront themselves. Your steadiness mirrors their insecurity. Your resolve highlights their instability. Your non-resistant gaze offers no foothold for blame or manipulation. They feel exposed, panicked, because you're no longer in their control. Maintaining calm amid those who trigger negative emotions is a skill that takes practice. It doesn't happen overnight. It requires daily work, observing emotions before reacting, breathing deeply instead of shouting, choosing silence over winning, valuing inner peace over petty victories. Every time you choose calm, you train your willpower, signaling to your mind, we don't need to react instantly. We have the power to choose. Over time, you become your own master. Consider how many past arguments left you feeling better. How often did anger bring real solutions? How many times did you wish you'd stayed calm instead of reacting emotionally? The answers show calm isn't easy, but is always the smarter choice. Your calm doesn't just unsettle toxic people. It inspires others. It shows there's another way to live, without fighting, shouting, or competing. A life rooted in inner strength, not verbal or emotional wins. Calmness doesn't mean allowing harm. It's a boundary so clear it needs no words. It says, I'm done playing in chaos. That's your invisible shield, unbreakable because toxic people thrive only where they can control others. When you're uncontrollable, they lose their footing. Be aware, your calm may be misjudged as coldness, apathy, or disinterest. Don't explain. True calm doesn't seek validation. It's about guarding your sacred inner peace. Those who matter will understand. Practicing calm is a journey. Start small. Breathe slowly when insulted. Pause when provoked. Observe emotions without letting them rule. Each choice strengthens your will, building a self that's unshakable, untouchable by others' scripts. If this resonates, like to spread this positive message. Comment, I stay calm to keep my power, as a pledge to yourself. Subscribe to continue exploring emotional wisdom, inner strength, and life mastery. Let's become unshakable, no matter how chaotic the world gets. Number 4, stop being their audience. Toxic people can't thrive without an audience. They feed on your reactions, attention, agreement, or resistance. Every grimace, every attempt to explain, every argument to be understood casts you as a supporting character in their game. Their game has one rule: keep you in their control by forcing your reaction. But what they can't stand, what makes them feel powerless, is when you withdraw your attention. When you stop being their audience. When you walk out of their theater and leave them monologuing alone in silence. We're conditioned to believe others deserve our explanations, responses, or engagement. But not everyone is worthy of your energy. Not every action merits your reaction. You're not obligated to join a toxic person's emotional performance. Each time you respond, you feel their chaos. They won't stop until you're exhausted, doubting yourself, and dependent on the emotions they stir. Stopping being their audience doesn't mean turning your back on the world. It's choosing what deserves your presence. Someone can yell, rage, insult, or slander you. But if you don't react, if you don't show up to their fight, they're left facing the emptiness they've created. Ironically, that's what they fear most, being alone without anyone following their script. Toxic people excel at creating scenarios that demand your reaction. They play the blame game, act the victim, guilt trip you, or hit your weak spots. But once you realize each reaction feeds their script, you can stop. You don't need to answer every text, confront every word, or show up to every demand. You're allowed to withdraw. Your response isn't just an emotional reflex, it's a message about your boundaries. Each time you stay silent instead of engaging, you say, I'm not here to serve anyone's erratic emotional needs. Each time you walk away instead of arguing, you say, I choose peace over temporary wins. Each time you don't show up, reply, or react, you send a clear signal. I'm no longer an audience for this game. Reflect on times you were pulled into drama, arguments, or pointless debates with toxic people. How did you feel afterward? Relieved, free, or just tired, chaotic, and like you were losing yourself? That's the cost of being their audience too long, of letting them make you react. The longer you allow it, the further you drift from your free self. You can't change their behavior, but you can change how you respond. Sometimes the strongest response is no response at all, not from weakness, but from strength too great to be controlled. The powerful don't need to prove anything to the unworthy. They walk away, close the door, and live freely. Don't confuse silence with surrender. Stopping being their audience isn't avoidance. It's reclaiming your power. You're saying, I won't waste another moment justifying myself to someone who doesn't want to understand. The magic is, when you stop giving them energy, they panic. Their entire control model depends on your response. Without an audience, they have no stage. A controller can't perform solo forever. They'll either change or find a new audience. But that's no longer your concern. You've walked away. You've chosen peace. You've chosen freedom. If you're reclaiming emotional mastery, this step is crucial. Withdraw energy from unworthy people and situations. Redirect it to your growth, self-love, and healthy relationships. Each time you refuse a toxic script, you create space for a lighter, deeper, more meaningful life. You don't need to fight to prove you're right or win pointless debates. You need clarity, who you are, what's worthy of you, and that no one defines your value through their treatment of you. If this resonates, like the video to show support. Comment, "I choose to withdraw to reclaim my power," as a declaration to yourself. Subscribe to keep exploring inner freedom, emotional wisdom, and becoming your strongest self. Number 5, stop handing over your power. Each of us holds a precious inner power, the ability to control our mind, emotions, and reactions. Yet many unknowingly surrender this power to toxic people who hurt or disrupt their lives. When you let others dictate how you feel, act, or think, you're voluntarily giving away your strength. This section will show you why you must stop handing over your power and how to reclaim control of your life. Have you heard the phrase, "Power lies with the one who reacts first"? When you react emotionally, angry, sad, or hurt by someone's words or actions, you hand them the reins to your emotions. Toxic people don't need much. They just need to know your weak spots to pull you into their spiral. That's how they manipulate and control you without you even noticing. Stopping this doesn't mean becoming numb or indifferent. It's a wise choice to protect your mental energy, stay clear-headed, and guide your actions. By knowing where to draw the line, you avoid being swept into negative emotions others create, maintaining your peace amid their storms. Imagine your inner power as a sacred flame. Every time you react to provocation or harsh words, you burn yourself out instead of letting that flame light your path. By choosing mindful control over impulsive reactions, your flame grows stronger and steadier, illuminating your way without being dimmed by external darkness. Many surrender their power because they don't fully grasp their own worth or strength. They believe they must explain, prove, or please others to be accepted, loved, or left alone. This is a subtle trap. It makes you live by others' standards and expectations instead of your own will and values. You stop leading your life and become an actor in someone else's script. To stop handing over your power, first identify situations and people that make you lose control. It could be unconstructive criticism, pointless arguments, or imposed expectations that suffocate you. Face them and ask, do I really need to react? Is this worth my peace? Can I choose silence and live my way? These questions build the habit of refusing to give power to the unworthy. A powerful tool for retaining inner power is focusing on your breath in the present moment. When emotions surge, take a few seconds to breathe deeply, feeling each inhale and exhale. This creates space between external events and internal reactions, calming your mind for wiser decisions. It keeps you from spiraling into negativity. Your greatest power is your ability to choose how you view things, how you speak to yourself, and whether to let someone invade your mental space. By holding firm in these choices, you stop being swayed and start steering your life. Also, practice setting clear boundaries. Boundaries aren't rejection or isolation. They protect your mental space and emotional safety. Say no when needed, without guilt. This is a potent way to stop giving power to those who make you feel weak or out of control. Reclaiming your power isn't instant. It requires persistent practice. Start small. Don't reply to uncomfortable texts. Avoid pointless debates. Gradually, you'll feel your emotional strength and inner power return. The key is recognizing your right to protect your emotions and choose responses that align with you. As you hold on to your power, your relationships shift positively. Those who respect you won't try to manipulate or control you. They'll honor your strength and boundaries. Toxic or insincere people will naturally fade from your life or lose their grip. This clears space for a healthier environment. Ultimately, stopping the surrender of your power isn't giving up or cowardice. It's a smart, resilient act. By guarding your mental strength, you shield yourself from negative influences and inspire others with your self-mastery. This is the mark of a mature person, standing firm through storms, letting no one else steer their life. If this resonates, like the video to fuel your journey. Comment your experience with holding on to your inner power. Subscribe for more inspiring content on mastering emotions in life. Share this with someone needing a reminder of their own strength. Number 6, cut the mental attachment. One of the greatest sources of suffering and manipulation lies in clinging to thoughts, emotions, or relationships that are no longer healthy. Mental attachment makes you a slave to the past, memories, hopes, or fears. These invisible chains drag you down, hindering your progress. Cutting these unnecessary mental attachments is a vital step in mastering yourself and freeing your mind. Cutting mental attachments doesn't mean shirking responsibility or becoming cold. It's choosing not to let past memories, negative emotions, or toxic ties control your present. Clinging to the past traps you in endless emotional loops, influencing your actions and robbing you of true freedom. A common example is holding on to old hurts, whether from a broken relationship, a harsh word, or a past mistake. Replaying these stories in your mind creates pain and unease. Each time you hurt yourself and give those memories power to rule your life, keeping you stuck in a cycle of insecurity and loss of control. To break free, first identify what thoughts or emotions hold you back. Be honest. What are you clinging to? Does it serve your growth or happiness? If not, it's time to let go. Letting go isn't forgetting or denying the past. It's accepting what happened, acknowledging it can't be changed, and moving forward with peace. A powerful tool for this is mindfulness meditation. Sit quietly, focus on your breath, and observe thoughts like clouds drifting by. You learn you're not your thoughts. You're their observer. This creates distance from negative states, making it easier to release and relax your mind. Journaling is another effective method. Writing down thoughts, emotions, and experiences moves them from your mind to paper, allowing objective reflection and reducing mental weight. You can then choose to discard or reframe thoughts that no longer fit, moving closer to inner freedom. Realize not everything belongs to you. Some people, events, or emotions aren't yours, yet you hold them out of habit or fear of loss. Learn to distinguish what's yours and what's not. Releasing control over what isn't yours frees up positive energy and clears unnecessary burdens. Attachment often shows in excessive expectations of others or outcomes. High expectations lead to disappointment and pain when unmet. Instead of letting expectations drive your emotions, practice acceptance and flexibility. You can't control others or results, but you can control your reactions and attitude, living lighter and freer. Forgiveness, whether of others or yourself, is key to cutting attachments. It's not weakness or excusing wrongs. It's freeing yourself from resentment and pain. Forgiveness releases negative emotions, clogging your mind, paving the way for healing and reclaiming your power. This process takes time. You'll feel awkward or tempted to revert to old habits. Don't give up. Each time you recognize and release an attachment, you take a vital step toward liberation. Remind yourself that inner freedom is the greatest reward you can give yourself. Imagine your life without these invisible chains. Your mind becomes lighter, emotions steadier, and focus on goals sharper. You can channel energy into growth, healthy relationships, and true success. That's the power of cutting mental attachments. If this resonates, like to encourage more content like this. Comment about your experiences letting go of mental attachments. Subscribe for new videos on mastering your mind and finding peace. Share this with friends or family needing a reminder of the power of letting go. Number 7, stop seeking their approval. One of the most crucial steps in freeing yourself from negative influences is to stop seeking approval from those who don't deserve it or bring positive value to your life. Constantly craving validation, especially from toxic or negative people, strips away your identity and makes you vulnerable to manipulation. Seeking approval is a natural human desire. We're social creatures who want to be recognized and loved. But when this becomes a habit, a core part of your behavior, you lose yourself and become dependent on others' perceptions. This breeds insecurity, erodes confidence, and causes unnecessary suffering. Reflect. How often have you done something just to please others? How many times have you stayed silent when you wanted to speak, fearing judgment? How often have you changed yourself to fit others' standards, forgetting who you are? These actions may win temporary approval, but chip away at your self-respect and dignity. Stopping the pursuit of approval isn't selfish or dismissive. It's a sign of maturity and self-respect. When you no longer need others' validation to affirm your worth, you grow more confident, grounded, and in control of your life. Many fall into this cycle due to past influences, family, social environments, or unhealed emotional wounds. Growing up in a setting where love or acceptance was tied to meeting others' expectations can condition you to live for others' approval rather than your truth. Recognizing this root is the first step to breaking free. To stop seeking approval, build a solid internal value system. Ask, what are my values? What makes me feel worthy? This creates a personal standard unshaken by negative or inaccurate external feedback. Knowing your worth makes you less swayed by baseless criticism. Next, listen to your inner voice and trust your intuition. Often, we're so caught up in pleasing others that we ignore our true feelings. Take time to be still, reflect, and acknowledge your emotions and thoughts. This strengthens your connection to yourself, reducing reliance on external validation. Mindfulness is a powerful tool here. By observing thoughts and emotions without being swept away, you notice when you're obsessing over others' approval and choose conscious actions over automatic reactions. Set clear boundaries in relationships. This means knowing when to say no or step away from conversations or situations that harm or exploit you. Boundaries protect your mental energy and maintain self-control. When you don't let others manipulate your emotions, you feel an unbreakable inner strength. Stopping the need for approval doesn't mean rejecting social bonds. Instead, it attracts people who respect and love the real you, not what you do to please them. This builds healthy, lasting, meaningful relationships. When you stop caring about others' opinions, you free up time and energy for what matters: personal growth, passions, and goals. This makes you happier, more successful, and an inspiration to others for living freely and intentionally. Imagine a life without worrying about pleasing others. You express yourself authentically, voice your thoughts and feelings without fear of rejection or judgment. You live fully in control, unbound by external standards. Commit to yourself, stop seeking unnecessary approval, and prioritize you. When tempted to act just to please others, pause and ask, does this make me a better version of myself? If not, say no. You'll feel liberation and mental strength in every choice. This is a process. You may face challenges or slip back into old habits, but keep going. Each time you choose to live true to yourself, you move closer to a free, happy, meaningful life. If this resonates, like to fuel more valuable content, comment your story or experience with letting go of unnecessary approval. Subscribe for videos on mastering your life and mind. Share this to inspire others to change as you are. Number 8, toxic people thrive on practice. Have you ever wondered why toxic people, those radiating negativity, repeatedly hurt you or others without changing? The answer is, toxicity isn't spontaneous. It's a skill they've honed through daily practice and habits. Toxic behaviors are cultivated over time, allowing them to maintain power, control, and influence. Understanding this equips you with the mental strength to respond effectively. Toxicity isn't innate. It's a pattern of deliberate or reflexive behaviors shaped by environment, personal experiences, or struggles. Toxic people often adopt these behaviors as a shield or a means to get what they want. They systematically manipulate emotions, create chaos, and wield negativity to dominate social dynamics. Their persistence stems from constant practice. Actions like lying, blaming, judging, pressuring, or sparking arguments aren't random. They're techniques refined over time for quick, effective impact. By triggering your loss of control or emotional balance, they gain the upper hand. That's their strength. Think of it like an athlete training for a sport. The more they practice, the more natural and polished their skills become. Similarly, toxic people train in manipulation, pressure, and chaos to maintain control. This explains why they rarely change. These behaviors are ingrained, almost instinctual. Recognizing this shifts your perspective. You can't counter toxic people by arguing or reacting emotionally. They're not acting on impulse, but executing a well-practiced strategy. They know how your emotions and reactions work and exploit your weaknesses to hurt or control you. Their practiced tactics, sarcasm, subtle jabs, or ignoring you to wound without direct confrontation, disrupt your focus, calm, or sense of self. These aren't accidents. They're deliberate, honed over years, making them challenging to counter. However, knowing their toxicity as practice gives you an edge. Seeing their actions as a rehearsed performance, not an absolute truth about you or the situation, lets you detach. You stop being swept into their emotional vortex and start viewing their behavior objectively. This also means toxic people are unlikely to change easily. Their habits are deeply rooted, requiring significant awareness and external support to shift, something most aren't willing or able to do. Instead of hoping for their change, focus on protecting and mastering yourself. Their practice doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger and more aware. You have the power to control your reactions and decide how their behavior affects you. To master this, build a response system rooted in awareness and mindfulness. When a toxic person pressures you, recognize it as their practiced tactic, not a personal failing. Instead of reacting impulsively, stay calm, maintain mental distance, and choose controlled, intentional responses. Setting clear, firm boundaries is key. By not letting toxic people cross your limits, you reduce their power and satisfaction in manipulating you. Boundaries disrupt their ability to repeat negative behaviors. Avoid their emotional traps. Toxic people are skilled at provoking tension or confusion to control or hurt you. Learning to spot these traps and practicing non-reaction is a daily skill to develop. Protecting yourself doesn't mean fighting or engaging intensely. Instead, focus on restraining emotions, staying calm, and acting deliberately. This minimizes the impact of their years of negative practice. To change your life and break free from toxic influence, start by recognizing their behavior as practiced. Mastering yourself and refusing habitual reactions breaks their negative cycle. Your true power lies in controlling your mind and emotions. If this resonates, like to support more content like this. Comment your experiences with toxic people and how you've coped. Subscribe for more videos to live freely, strongly, and happily. Share this to help others recognize and protect themselves from negative influences. Number 9, turn pain into power. Everyone faces moments of pain, hurt, and challenges, especially when dealing with toxic people or tough circumstances. The key isn't avoiding suffering, it's what you do with it. One of the most powerful ways to grow is to transform pain into strength, turning negative experiences into positive energy for growth and resilience. This is the key to not just surviving, but thriving through life's trials. First, acknowledge your pain. Instead of denying or avoiding negative emotions, accept that suffering is an inevitable part of life. This opens the door to processing pain effectively, preventing it from festering or causing deeper harm. Pain isn't a sign of weakness. It's a signal to care for yourself more fully. Next, reframe how you view pain. Rather than seeing it as negative, view it as a chance to learn and grow. Each challenge helps you understand yourself better, identify strengths and weaknesses, and manage emotions more effectively. Pain builds patience, empathy, and emotional wisdom, qualities that shape your best self. Transforming pain into power requires controlling your mind and emotions. When hurt by toxic people or negative situations, you may feel out of control, swept into a negative spiral. But by mastering your mind, you can turn pain into motivation, not victimhood. This takes time and persistence, but the result is a surge in inner strength. Redirecting energy is crucial. Negative energy from pain can become creative fuel if harnessed. Instead of letting anger, sadness, or frustration break you, channel them into action. Exercise, learn a new skill, work on a personal project, or help others. This not only helps you overcome pain, but enriches your life meaningfully. Sharing your pain and story with others is another powerful step. Opening up releases your burden and builds connections with those who understand or support you. Your story can inspire others facing similar struggles. The strength of empathy and community is vital for healing and growth. Forgiveness is essential for turning pain into power. Forgiving doesn't mean condoning harm. It means freeing yourself from resentment and bitterness. It lets you focus on the future, not the past, reclaiming your peace and inner strength. A strong support system is critical. Friends, family, or professionals provide perspective, advice, and motivation, keeping you from getting lost in negativity. A robust support network helps you rise faster and stay on track to transform pain into strength. This journey builds resilience and self-respect. Each challenge you overcome strengthens your belief in your ability to face difficulties. Growing self-respect makes you less vulnerable to negative people or situations and keeps you grounded in your path. Daily self-care is vital. Maintain physical and mental health through healthy eating, exercise, meditation, or reading to sustain positive energy and inner strength. A healthy body and clear mind are the foundation for facing challenges and transforming pain. Be patient with yourself. Turning pain into power is a long journey with ups and downs. You may feel weak or hurt again, but don't give up. Every effort makes you stronger and closer to your best self. Each time you transform pain into power, see it as a personal victory, a major step in your growth. Reward yourself with forgiveness, love, and respect. Only by truly valuing yourself can you turn challenges into endless strength and inspiration. If this inspires you, like to show support, comment your experience with turning pain into power, and subscribe for more videos to grow and overcome challenges. Share this to spread positive energy and help others master their pain and turn it into extraordinary strength. After exploring strategies to master your mind and transform pain into strength, the key message is that this journey is challenging but profoundly worthwhile. Every step, no matter how small, proves your inner strength and ability to reshape your life. Never underestimate your capacity to overcome seemingly impossible challenges. You are capable, and you deserve a life of happiness, peace, and mental mastery. Start acting today. Don't let pain or the past control you any longer. Apply the strategies we've discussed. Break negative thought loops, focus on what matters, detach from harmful emotions, channel positive energy, and stop seeking external validation. Each technique you practice builds a stronger mind, making you unstoppable against circumstances or others. True inner freedom begins with owning your mindset. You don't need to control the world around you, just how you respond to it. Mastering your reactions shifts you from victim to leader of your life, driven by unshakable calm, consistency, and self-respect. If this video resonated, take a moment to like it. This not only shows me you want more valuable content, but also helps reach others seeking peace and mental strength. Share this with friends, family, or anyone needing a positive shift. Spreading these values builds a stronger, inspired community. Most importantly, if you haven't subscribed, do so now to stay updated with future motivational and self-development videos. I'm committed to delivering quality content to help you grow stronger, wiser, and live a life where your mind masters emotions and pain. You're not alone on this journey. We all have the power to turn pain into strength. You just need to believe in yourself and keep acting. Start today, step out of the past shadow, and become the true master of your life. I believe in you, and I look forward to joining you on this incredible journey.